Here are all the details on Queer Magic Mike Live Miami. Recently, Queer News Tonight interviewed Bruce Robert Harris. He is a Tony Award-winning Broadway and West End producer from New York City and a producer of our own South Florida Magic Mike Live, the multi-year national tour that starts here in South Florida.
Interview this evening, and that's because of Scott Holland's article in Hotspots magazine for Magic Mike Live, and it's a really interesting, super interesting concept, especially for the South Florida LGBTQ community, and we're going to explore this. Tonight we're joined by Bruce Robert Harris. He's a Tony Award-winning Broadway and West End producer from New York City and a producer of the South Florida's Magic Mike Live. It is a multi-year national tour that's going to go to as many as 10 cities, and yes, you've guessed it, it starts right here in Miami and South Florida. We make the note that Magic Mike Live's North America tour starts in Miami, and it's going to be a 6-month limited engagement that runs through April. The venue is very interesting in that the tour performs in a custom-built tent at Marine Stadium's site at Key Biscayne, and the venue is 2 stories with just over 600 seats and is outfitted with the latest technologies and decorated with every last detail, hand-selected by Channing Tatum and the creative team behind the show. The show features some of the most talented dancers, aerialists, and musicians performing expert choreography and specialty acts in every possible space in front of, above, and all around the audience. And we're going to tell you all about tickets in a moment. Bruce Robert Harris, welcome to Queer News Tonight.
Thank you for having me.
This is really an exciting concept. I don't get to talk to people in South Florida that commit to a project of this size. Of course, we think of Cirque du Soleil, and there's no gay man, there's no LGBT person in my voice across the country, and especially here in South Florida, that has not heard of Magic Mike and
or Channing,
and who doesn't love Channing Tatum. I was just telling production, I have just today come from Tampa, and last night I was in Ybor City and went to the club that Channing Tatum originally danced at. And from Tampa Bay, I know all of the sites, that sandbar off of St. Pete Beach.
Yeah.
I know much of the details, having watched Magic Mike, 112, 114 times, something like that.
I like hearing that.
Yes, exactly. It is really exciting. I have to show for my friend Scott Holland. It's on stands right now, this very interesting interview with you and the production of the show in Hotspots. Tell us a little bit about what's happening here in this show that's going to have this limited engagement for 6 months here in South Florida. Tell us what you're doing.
Well, we're trying to bring the market to us at Key Biscayne. The stadium and the theater is so unique. It's a 360-degree experience. Channing had this idea, taking some of the dance moves from these movies and incorporating that with the talent of these boys. These boys are absolutely beautiful. They're from all over the world. And it's a leitmotif of what the movies are, with the safe word being unicorn, for women that are in the theater. And it gives women a feeling of empowerment where they can actually enjoy this and probably get a lap dance or 2 or 3. The boys are really quite efficient, beautiful dancers, as you said, in aerial acts. There's one boy in particular I have to point out. He can spin on his head more than 40 times in the old-fashioned kind of dance that Channing started in these movies. And with one little move of the body, he's actually choreographed and directed an entire show. And he got us all to buy into it and raise money for it and produce it.
So what's first, right out of the gate, Magic Mike Live. This is first city. South Florida is getting it first. You're going to do it in this limited engagement for 6 months, and then you're going to take it to 10 other cities.
10 or more.
10 or more.
We have a 6 or 7 year tour planned.
Yeah,
for them.
and I want to start with this facility. A lot of people who haven't been to some of the national shows that Cirque du Soleil has done, or some of the other circus, high energy circus shows have done, they probably haven't been in a venue tent like this. And when we say tent, nothing like this in terms of thinking about a tent. Tell us a little bit about the venue itself.
The venue is quite incredible because Skull and Bones has a restaurant there that's a very high-end, very rated restaurant where you can have a dinner experience. We have VIP packages which include hotel and a boat ride around Miami that stops at the pier right across the street from the marine terminal. They can dine in the theater and then meet the cast in a special VIP room, which is created for each and every city that we go. And in this particular case for South Florida, we had a few artists come in and build this so it's very reflective of the area. People felt very comfortable that last night, and we turned the entire room into a pink carpet so that people could take pictures and meet the cast. So not only is it a restaurant, and there are multiple bars throughout the entire venue. All the women and men who come, they drink, they have a wonderful time, and then they can come and have dinner. So it's really kind of an experience. We have free parking, people that are driving out, so I need to mention that. We've done a beautiful job resurfacing everything outside, so it's very easy and convenient for everybody to get to.
And you know what's interesting about this is it allows you to solve all the problems that if you were in a hardened venue facility, it solves every problem. It gives you the space that you want for a show like this. It gives you the food, it gives you the entertainment, it gives you the flexibility to have done exactly what you would want to do for Magic Mike Live. It reminds me of the intent of Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas.
That's right.
Where you have a dedicated venue at one of the hotels, and you've taken that concept on steroids for Miami and South Florida.
This tent came from Australia, from our Australian production. We had a sit-down production in London, which is at the Hippodrome Theatre in London, in which I'm a producer. In Berlin, we had a sit-down venue, and this tent came from Australia, and this is what's going to travel around the United States, and we're looking at Mexico and Canada, and just everywhere in North America, in this area where we can truck this. And it really comes together like a jigsaw puzzle, and we take it apart and we put it together in the next city.
Bruce, let's talk about the show itself. So first off, I know you're a New Yorker. I know you're a gay man. You identify. I have read so much of what Channing Tatum has said in embracement of the LGBTQ community, especially gay men in communities, an incredible advocate for our community. I know a lot of gay men that are listening to you right now and this show. They might be a little intimidated in thinking this show is designed for straight women. That's not true. It's designed for everybody.
It's designed for everyone. I will tell you that I had a lot of guests last night, and
You're in previews right now.
Yes, we were in previews, and we opened just last night.
Right.
And I had a lot of guests see the show, and I specifically invited gay men, and I wanted to hear what they had to say. There is no question this helps women. This gives female empowerment. Our lead woman is a very Zoftic, beautiful woman who talks a lot about tits and clits. But at the end of the day, it is to give everybody the sense of what these men can do, the talent for these men. And I'll tell you, all of my guests had an amazing time. We get men in the audience all the time. We get them in Vegas, we get them in London, and they come back constantly, and they come back in groups. I don't know that specifically a whole house would be men, but I do know that we do get a great deal of them, and they come back time and time again. I do. I love it. It's one of the reasons I produced it.
Well, Bruce, I don't need to tell you, being a New Yorker, the New York gay community vacations in South Florida.
Absolutely.
So we're living in one of the largest LGBTQ communities in the country. So I suspect over this next 6 months, you're going to see tens of thousands of gay men
love that.
come to Magic Mike Live. Tell us a little bit about Channing Tatum's imagination here. I mean, putting his thumbprint on this, wanting to develop a live version of the two movies, right?
Well, I have to tell you also, the third movie is about to be announced. It's a bit of a secret. Steven Soderbergh is directing the movie. Channing is this will be the final third movie, and it will be filmed in this tent very shortly, and it'll be
In Key Biscayne.
Yes, and
Oh,
it'll be
wow.
included in the movie. when
You're
the movie
breaking news.
I'm breaking news.
Yeah.
And it will be filmed in the tent, and it will all tie the brand together. We also have Finding Magic Mike, which is a television show, which was a reality show, and the winner went into the Vegas company, and we'll be bringing that back as well on HBO. So there's just a lot of excitement around the brand. Channing's idea was to take talented men who have very different talents. We have a drummer, we have someone who dances in water, we have somebody who plays the piano, we have beautiful singing voices from as far as South Africa who are actually performing in the show. The audition process is quite stringent for the show. The boys really have to dance, but he uses the talent and he threads the entire show together so that young Magic Mike learns how to be a stripper from all the other strippers in all the scenes of this particular show, with a female protagonist that allows the audience to feel comfortable and at ease, use their secret word, which is unicorn. We have a unicorn at the end of the show, and they come in droves. What I love most about the show is when you leave the show, everybody's at the box office buying tickets for a show in the future. They put a group together and then they come back and see it again.
Yeah, I imagine it is great for group parties.
Oh, yes.
Come and do
Oh,
this
yes.
with the food and the beverage all wrapped in together. You know,
It'd be nice to have gay bachelor
yeah,
parties.
well, and we don't even need the bachelor.
No, we
don't
don't.
need the excuse of that. Just gay parties
That's very true.
is enough. You know, another thing that is interesting to me about this conceptual idea is I've been an invited guest to almost all of the big stripper shows in Las Vegas. It's interesting to me on what you're designing here, that this is more of a artistic drama push of a stripper show. Among my favorites in Las Vegas is Thunder Down Under. I'm infatuated with Australians, and it's a very, very good show. But they don't try to weave a story.
No.
It is what it is. Do you think that is because of the drama and the acting interest that Channing Tatum has, that he wanted to build something a bit more for this program?
Channing had an idea, and the idea was to make women feel comfortable and not just be a salacious strip show. He wanted to use the talents of all these boys. And these numbers, when you watch them, they're unlike anything you've seen. Thunder Down Under, Chippendales, they're half the quality of what we have. It's very high powered. We have a Kino tent that has lights, water, sound, fog, mapping, all kinds of interesting, intriguing things that draws the audience in. It's not just a stripper show collecting dollars. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is entertain and allow these women and men to enjoy themselves like they've never been able to do before. It's a lot more than the movies. This is a long show. It's 90 minutes. And I don't want it ever to end when I watch it, and I think the audience feels the same way when they watch that.
Being a producer, it's probably 25 degrees in Manhattan this morning.
No, I'm glad I'm in South
And
Florida.
right. You're here for 6 months at least for the show. The timing, in terms of you being producer of this show, couldn't be any better in terms of enjoying it.
Well, I have to say we sort of plan it that way. We're on a tent. We build all the grounds, and every 6 months we move to another city where we have the tempered temperature so that people can be outside and enjoy the full facility that we build, that we truck in. So as we go to the next city, we'll be looking at that temperature so that those people will come out and enjoy it. You want to park, you want to walk into the venue, you want to go to dinner, you want the VIP experience. It makes it much more comfortable. Not like the other day when it was pouring rain here. That was on a preview, and that was very difficult for people to get in. But that doesn't happen often here, so we always have sunshine.
Especially in the winter. And for national, international audience that is watching you now, tell us about some of the other cities that are planned.
We haven't announced that yet,
okay.
and I'm unable to announce
Okay.
all those different cities.
Okay.
I know it's on everybody's minds, but it'll be coming to major cities. We're not going as far as Las Vegas, because we already have a sit-down show in Vegas, so we'll be staying on this side of the country for now. And there'll be 24 and a half to 6 month engagements for the show.
And as producer of Magic Mike Live, I know in New York you've been part of Gay Fest NYC, and you've worked with the Pines Party, legendary event. How was your experience of working in LGBT, being a gay man, and your work in New York? How has those experiences helped bring you to Magic Mike Live?
As a producer, any producer, this is all about a relationship business. This is all about relationships with investors. And when I produced gay thematic material for Gay Fest NYC, we always had a charity. And our charity was the Harvey Milk High School and the Hedrick Martin Institute. And we were able to help with education, mentoring, and scholarships. People that supported a lot of my shows in the past on Broadway or in London have all really seen this brand and understand what this brand can return. And I think it's a responsibility of a commercial producer to do commercial projects. You can do things for love. I've done a lot of things for love, and I've done things for the creative process. But in this particular case, when I was brought onto this project, I saw what the potential was. And to be honest, I've raised a lot of money for the show. I have a lot of people that have flown down for the show, and I think they feel the same way. It's wonderful to produce on Broadway, but Broadway has a lot of healing. We have a lot of things that we've gone through in New York. Our theaters are tight. We're rebuilding some of those theaters in New York. And currently there are only half of those theaters that are filled. I think this tent experience, this keynote tent experience, will make people feel very comfortable. And I think they'll have a wonderful time doing it.
Let's kind of recap before I let you go on Magic Mike Live. First, Channing Tatum. I don't know. Did I mention Channing Tatum?
We need to keep mentioning him.
I'm not sure I mentioned Channing Tatum. We can't wait for him to come into South Florida and talk about this and the new movie that is coming that's using the Key Biscayne site. So you have all of the advantages in terms of having a long-term venue footprint of this very deluxe tent experience. If you haven't been in a facility like this, the word venue doesn't cut it. The word tent certainly doesn't cut it. This is a very special facility that's custom built for this experience. You go to the tent, you have strippers. We've been showing some of the pictures. We know that we're going to have beautiful men, but you add the drama of your production eye and Channing Tatum's desire to elevate this to the next level out of a Chippendales show. And then you have this facility that does mapping in terms of laser lights and water and fogging and all of the 360 around in the theater. I can't recall anything ever being done like this before. I'm literally all of the things that I've seen in Las Vegas, I don't think I've ever recalled seeing something like this.
This is a 360-degree immersive show that you will come back and see and not sit in the same seat. You'll sit in another seat, you'll see a whole different show. It's interesting, a lot of people last night said to me, how many people are in the show? There's so many boys in the show. And the way the show is directed and choreographed, it constantly builds throughout the night. And it's one of those shows you don't want to end, and it's one of those shows you're going to want to come back and see.
I can't remember the last time I went to a show where I said, gosh, there were just too many boys in that show. I can't remember
and
that.
boys not wearing too much clothing.
Yes, exactly right.
I'll let South Florida know that this is a much more risque production than we've done in London, and much, much bigger than we've done in Las Vegas. Those venues were smaller. This show is a little bit longer. And I believe the Latino community and the Spanish community are going to find some specialty things put in the show, especially for them.
Yeah.
We wanted to speak to everybody down here, and we wanted it to be a success.
For gay men in South Florida, this sounds like the epitome of cat milk to me.
Good, that's good.
I'm sure you're going to have, it's going to be so difficult to fill this house. Tell us and tell everybody how we get tickets.
You're going to get tickets if you go to magicmikelive.com. We have ticket brokers through many different websites, which we can flash on the screen. We're here through April, but I would tell you that VIP experiences are selling quite well, and everybody's going to want to meet these dancers, and we're going to get them out in the press. We're very happy to have a couple of our dancers featured in Hot Spots this week.
Yeah, I'm holding that up again. Scott Holland's article here. It's on stands now at Hot Spots magazine. very excellent article.
Come in groups, come in couples, come and enjoy it. It's just one of those things. It's quite unique, and I think people, especially gay people that travel all over the country to do circuit events, will probably start traveling and following us in each city that we go in. There'll be very specific things that we do in each city, and it's going to be very exciting. I love the brand, and I've been in all of the shows so far as a producer.
Excellent. And of course, National for LGBTQ Community Thanksgiving weekend, we have Urge coming.
Yes.
And in March, of course, the National Task Force Winter Party Festival.
And I'll be back down here for that.
Yeah, excellent. So much happening this winter. And above everything else, I just have to say thank you very much, and please pass our congratulations on to Channing Tatum. It's a reflection of launching Magic Mike Live in this way. You're launching it in the absolute perfect place on this planet, South Florida, in terms of travelers, international travelers, cruise ship traffic. And, oh, by the way, there's a lot of gay men here. So I know they're going to love it. So, and it's mmltour.com?
Magic Mike Live.
MagicMikeLive.com. Make sure you go to their website and read the information and get your tickets. I cannot wait to come to see it. I'm sure there is no person that is listening to your voice right now that goes, I'm not going to that show. So congratulations.
It's better than the movies, I think.
Channing? Channing. All right, real good. Bruce Robert Harris from Magic Mike Live. Thank you for being with us at Queer News Today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.